Hello, everyone, and we are back with Sports on the Fly. We've got the Western Conference coming up right now. Ben Zeno, Rob Jiggity here, Ian Sachs joining them, and fellas, what do you want to look at in the Western Conference? Starting it off.
Rob, start it off.
All right. You talked about the surprises in the East. I want to point out the Grizzlies as a surprise in the West because I expect them to be good, maybe 4th, 5th seed, but they're out there, 1st seed, 10-2, just dominating right now.
Killing the game. For me, I need to talk about these Clippers. It's a different. You're not seeing the same explosiveness that you would usually see in the Clippers team. And I don't know if that's because of Blake Griffin being injured. CP3. This is arguably the best point guard in the league. He orchestrates this high-powered offense, but right now it's really not. It's not clicking at the moment. So I think the team has to be assessed.
I think you're right. I'm not too nervous about the Clippers. For me, surprises. I've got a few of them out west. Dallas 9-3.
Dallas.
Yep,
that's
one.
New Orleans 6-4.
Another one.
Okay.
Sacramento 7-5.
Boogie Cousins. Rob, you really like to play a Boogie Cousins this year.
Yeah.
You've been saying this a lot.
Yeah.
You've been saying how he's been leading the team and whatnot. And Rudy Gay getting this contract extension this week as well, a 3-year deal. So the Kings organization moving forward are going to have Rudy Gay and DeMarcus Cousins be the cornerstone of the franchise.
I just looking at this, I was expecting Dallas to finish about in the 6, 7, 8 spot. Make the playoffs, but one of the lower seeds. Right now, they're third, only one game back of Memphis for the best record in the conference. Then I was looking, New Orleans and Sacramento, wasn't really expecting them to make that much of a playoff push. Right now, Sacramento is percentage points out of the 8 seed, and New Orleans is percentage points ahead of them in the 8 seed. I like it. These two franchises are young. They've been developing their players over the last few years and have been toward the bottom of the NBA, but now we're finally seeing these building processes come to life.
You see building process even last year. Portland, Phoenix taking this ginormous step. Nobody expected Portland to be that good last year. And the Pelicans and the Kings are trying to make the same steps as the Suns and the Trailblazers. Jiggity.
You've seen in the Western Conference the emergence of young teams, especially behind these young point guards. And it'd be really good to see how Ant Davis and DeMarcus Cousins do in the playoffs if it comes to that.
I want to see Ant Davis in the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's Ant Davis.
I think this is, without a doubt, his breakout year.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm looking at Anthony Davis. There was a lot of hype looking to him this year, and I see him really putting together a nice season and establishing himself as one of the premier big men in the league. He doesn't have exactly the width and strength that some of the other big men might have, but he's got those long arms, and watch out for Ant Davis.
And when I checked yesterday, Ant Davis was leading the league in both blocks and steals.
Oh, I'm not expecting that.
As a big man for steals, that is really good.
And what I notice is for players that coming off of USA Basketball in the summertime, they have a pretty good season. Like Carmelo. When Carmelo came back from USA Basketball, he was killing it.
And you saw that in Kevin Love in 2010 when he came back from the FIBA World Cup play. He came back, had a monster season, and was pulling out rebounding numbers that we haven't seen in 20, 30 years.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
We've talked a lot about it, the disparity here. I know there's a great disparity, Eastern Conference versus Western Conference. Just to put it in perspective, right now, Phoenix and Sacramento are both 7-5, and if the playoffs started today, which I know it won't, it doesn't. We're still a long ways off. Still got about 70 games left in the season, so long way from the playoffs. But let's just say season ended today, playoffs started. Sacramento and Phoenix would be going home, missing the playoffs at 7-5. If they were in the Eastern Conference, they'd be the 5 seed.
Ooh. I remember last year when Dallas and Phoenix were at the bottom of the league, questions was like, yo, Silver, let the Western Conference team play in the Eastern Conference because the poor play of the Eastern Conference team under 500 records, they shouldn't be in the playoffs.
Right. I mean, you know, I like the way that it's even in 15 teams in each league and 8 from each conference make it, but it's just there's just such a disparity there. Now, a team that I want to touch on, we talked about bad surprises earlier. I think this team has underachieved. It's the Oklahoma City Thunder, 3-10. Now, I know they're without Kevin Durant, and that's a big piece. But I would have expected them to be able to at least be respectable.
They're also without Westbrook too. You have 2 of the top 5 scorers in the game on your team, and all of a sudden they're not playing anymore. That's gonna take a lot out of your team in the win column.
Plus, other players were injured on that team. Amore, Jeremy Lamb, Reggie Jackson also had a stint on not the other day today, and they lost Thabo Sefolosha. That's one of their prime defensive stoppers throughout this whole OKC run that they're having. And when you put Thabo Sefolosha on your best player, and they usually get shut down. With Thabo out, that player's scoring on its team, and that's why they're winning when they play OKC.
You know what? I guess I was kind of more just looking at the standings, and it didn't click to me just how banged up they have been this year. And Ben, as you said, the absence of Thabo, but if you look at it, points allowed, they're ranked 5th. So their defense isn't really the problem. It's on the offensive end where they're missing it. Ranked 29th in the league right now in offense.
Yes.
Wow. No, but Reggie can score. We can see that now. Reggie Jackson can score. And Jeremy Lamb's plays have to be big. He's been sitting on the bench for about 3 years now. You got to play sometimes, Jeremy Lamb. And he's been doing that. I remember last week he had a 20 and 11 game. I know that's not going to be every night for Jeremy Lamb, but 20 points out of Jeremy Lamb, that would be nice to see on an everyday occurrence.
The only team that is averaging fewer points than Oklahoma City, the Philadelphia 76ers. Those great players out there, the only winless team
Yikes.
in the NBA. Not only the only winless team, everyone else has at least 3 wins.
Well, I remember last week we was talking about these Sixers, and then they played the Rockets. They only lost by 1. Remember,
Yeah,
we were talking about over under 20-something, 30.
That's true.
But go, Sax, go.
No, go on.
I was just saying a quick thing. The Sixers are going to lose again this weekend because they're playing the Knicks. Knicks taking that dub. I don't care what nobody says.
If the Knicks lose,
Yeah, man.
then it's looking like
Yeah. But the thing is, back to the Western Conference. What's funny? Well, not funny, but the Lakers, they're not having this stellar start, and Byron Scott didn't get fired. Why Mike Brown had to get fired? You know what I mean?
I don't know. Yeah, that's true. He did last more than 5 games.
Yeah.
So that's something. I don't know. You know, I think that was just a poor decision there. 5 games into the season, you're really going to tell me how the rest of the year is going to end up.
That was so. I think he's still getting a check from that too. And then he gets fired from Cleveland, Mike Brown.
yeah,
You getting checks from
bad luck.
teams.
Bad luck, Brown.
Now, Ben, you brought up the Rockets from last weekend with the 76ers. The Rockets starting out so hot, looking phenomenal, going 6-0 to start the season, but since then a measly 3-3, and their wins 1 point over Philadelphia at home, at Oklahoma City by 4, and Minnesota by 12. Okay, so that's at least some quality.
The Laker game was close, right?
Yeah, they lost by 6 to the Lakers. So, and then there are 3 losses there to Golden State. Obviously, nothing bad about that. Golden State's right now ranked number 2 in the Western Conference, so no qualms there. And at Memphis number 1, so no problems there. But only beating Philly by 1, only beating OKC by 4, losing to the Lakers. Is Houston in trouble? Did they peak in the first 10 games of the year?
I think there's a problem there. When you play a bad team, you have to show them how bad they are. You have to beat the bad teams by a large margin every night in order to show that you're a contender in this league.
And with the fact that Dwight Howard did not play against the Lakers, I don't know. They said he was a back injury. I don't think he want to play Kobe. Yeah, because last time some words were exchanged. Dwight Howard's been getting the butt of bad jokes throughout ever since he left Orlando, and now players are really telling it to his face while on the court. Yeah, you bleep bleep the bleep bleep the bleep bleep.
A lot of expletives there.
Yeah, when Dwight Howard's name is mentioned. But Patrick Beverley, I want to see his emergence, because Beverley's known as a defensive point guard first. That's when I think of Patrick Beverley. So you gotta see if he can score the ball. And their bench is weak. Weak with a capital W. This dude, they don't have Papa Nicola, right?
They do.
They do? He's a lefty. He can shoot, I know that. But other than that, Garcia, he can fill it up, but you're not gonna expect that out of him every night. He's an older guy. He's a veteran. If he woke up on the right side of the bed, then the bench of the Houston Rockets are going to be good. All right, I'm done talking about the Rockets.
So do you see that they're just going through a little bit of a rough patch, or is there some flaw that was not that's being exposed now that wasn't exposed in the first few games of the year?
I think Dwight Howard should just dominate. He should go out there, try to grab 20 rebounds, and score 30. He should assert his dominance and show people why he was once considered the best center in the league. And that would probably end the problems for the Rockets.
I agree with you. I think that you have to look at Dwight Howard here as a major piece that could assert the Rockets as one of the premier teams. I think ever since he left Orlando, he's felt that he's kind of taken a back seat. Going to LA, back seat to Kobe. Now with the Rockets teaming up with Harden, kind of maybe feels like it's Harden's team. Don't want to step on his toes a little. Dwight Howard is such a freak of nature that if he wants to, he can dominate every single night in the NBA.
He should.
And he should. And if and when he can do that, the Rockets will be an elite team in the NBA. Until that happens, they'll be a very good team. Could even be, probably top 4 in the Western Conference. But not an elite team. And until that happens, they'll be going for very good. And
never great.
No.
Until Dwight Howard takes that step.
Exactly. Fellas, thank you very much for coming on the show. Lovely insight into the NBA. I know you guys have to run off to class.
Yep.
We'll take a quick break here, then I'll be back, look at some NFL, and set you up for the weekend.
Iona College's highly accredited graduate programs empower students